All right, well, good evening, guys. I got Anders at K3REH. Welcome.
November 6, Papa Golf, Quebec.
Wow, we got Bob, November 6th, Papa Golf, Quebec. Good evening. Any others?
Kilo Papa 4, Mike Delta, Carol, Citrus High.
All right.
Y Echo, November 10.
Ken, can you repeat your call sign? I know who you are, and good evening, but I always forget your prefix. Go right ahead again.
No worries. November 6, Kilowatt Echo, November N6KEN.
I got you this time. November 6, Kilo Echo, November. Thank you. Oh, we have a full class tonight, and well, do we have any folks out there viewing us on YouTube? Carol, KP4MD.
No, I didn't see anybody yet. I was a little bit late in starting it, but it's going now. And don't really have anybody logged on to YouTube yet. Over.
All right, well, since it's almost Halloween, I might log in over there and prank you a little bit. How's that? Just kidding. N6NA FM. So hello, everybody, and thanks for checking in. If you folks are ready to start transmitting photographs, go ahead and state your transmit mode and go ahead and fire off. How about Joel, AI6DG? You've got tone.
DG120.
All right, you've done good, Joel. I was able to copy, Net Control was able to copy your photo, and I am just, since we have a full cast tonight, I'm going to say I got a good photograph from you for starters, and that just quite a few pixel pops across the photograph, but really nice color spectrum overall, and I can turn it over to KL7HQR and check in with Neil to see if he was able to copy.
Yeah, good evening, Gale 7HQR. Yeah, same thing. A good copy. Quite a few spots in the picture today. I would have to guess that this is a good picture of Niagara. I have never been there, but I have to assume that that's what it is. There is a bridge on the back with a tower and some trees. It would look like winter. Apparently some snow on the ground as well on the other side. And on the near side, quite a lot of reflections. Looks like another bridge or a fence. But a good picture. A little bit of a rainbow effect because of the spray from the falls. So back to that, Gale 7HQR.
Very good, Neil. Thank you. Anders, K3REH.
Yeah, so I received a nice picture, some blue sky-ish, and a very wet landscape, so I am quite sure that this is Sacramento just a few days ago. That's what it has to be with all that water. So that is my guess. K3REH, back to net.
All right, well, very good, Anders. Something strange happened. I lost whatever I received, and now I can't find it. But I'll be turning it over to Bob, N6PGQ.
Well, I was in such a rush to get a Halloween-related picture onto this that I forgot you have to not have the flash drive plugged in and have the sound card plugged in. So I didn't get anything except for the very last little bit, and it was blue. So I'm worthless. Off to the next person, N6PGQ.
All right, well, thanks for the update, Bob. We'll check in later if you'd like to send one, and I'll turn it over to Carol, KP4MD.
Okay, this is KP4MD. I have an interesting picture with a rainbow, and it looks like it doesn't look like Sacramento to me. It looks like a large, I don't know if that's some kind of collage or something, but it looks like a large waterfall flowing from the right down to the left. I wonder if this is where this is. I have no idea. I don't think it's Niagara Falls because I don't recognize that that bridge there behind it. So maybe it is Niagara Falls. Anyway, some other falls maybe. Oh, I heard that there was a big what do you call Yosemite falls that got reactivated all of a sudden with this storm. So maybe that's it because Joe likes to send pictures of Yosemite. So back to net control. This is KP4MD.
All right, well, thank you, Carol. Some amazing scenarios you've postulated there. So, thank you. Ken, N6KEN, how are you out there? Are you able to copy?
Yeah, this is N6KEN, and like Bob, I was not prepared for the copy of Joel's picture. All the nets seem to be going late tonight, which is good, but my laptop wasn't powered on, and it took longer to power it up. So I'll be brief because I know we've got a lot of people tonight. N6KEN, back to net.
All right, very good. Yeah, that's a good point, Ken, because when we get 5 or 6 people on here like this, it can easily run quite lengthy. But go ahead, Joel. You want to tell us all about your photograph? Thank you.
Yes, it's Niagara Falls, and I was thinking, of course it's Niagara Falls. It's obvious, but I guess not, because brought up an excellent point. You don't recognize the falls, because usually when you see photos of Niagara Falls, you see photos of Horseshoe, which is the much larger fall that goes actually starts on the starts or ends on the Canadian side and goes around the Horseshoe to the American side on Goat Island. And this is the less photograph, particularly from this angle, Luna Falls and American Falls. So we have America on the right and Canada on the left and the Niagara Falls Gorge kind of on the left in shadow behind the rainbow. Starting from the bottom on the right, we've got a little bit of land from Goat Island, and there's actually some stairs going down an embankment and to a bridge that goes across to the island that's kind of in the middle lower right. And that's Luna Island, and the falls between that, the near water that's below that, the water that the falls from the water going over the edge there is called Luna Falls, and the falls behind that going up towards the top of the photo is American Falls. The bridge in the background is the Rainbow Bridge that goes between Niagara Falls, Canada, and Niagara Falls, America. And there's a little, can't really tell that it's separate, but the little tower is several hundred yards away from it, in between us and the bridge. And it actually, there's an observation deck that goes out quite a ways into the gorge. So you can walk out it and basically feel like you're up in the middle of the gorge in the air. This is an old photo, so lots of, I'm going through Google Maps and looking at Niagara Falls, and lots of things have changed in the area in the 15 years or so since I was there. And in fact, that observation tower is, I think, 2 stories shorter now. It's still there, but it's much shorter. When I spent a winter there working, and the building I worked in is actually that green cube in the upper right of the photo. So it was quite exciting walking to and from work to the hotel that was in the area. And let me tell you, there's huge rapids for a quarter mile of upstream from these falls, and you hear them. They're very loud. More photos to come in probably not this week, though. Back to N6NA SSTV.
Well, do appreciate that, Joel. Appreciate the landscape photos from your travels. Helps me remember to keep up with the items on my bucket list. As soon as I'm done with everything I've got going on, I'm going to schedule some travel. How's that? So I'm always encouraged by what you have to show. So thank you. Wonderful photo. Keep up the good work. Add to the stock. I'm going to be doing that as well. Neil, if you're ready, you can go right ahead and transmit your photo.
Okay, let me be ready here. I have to just close this picture here and go to transmit. This picture here is going to be a test of the resolution that you guys get. We'll see how it goes. It's PD 120.
right, Neil. KL7HQR sent a photo. Very nice work. I can see an inset photograph in the lower left-hand corner with what looks like a light-colored airliner aircraft in a hangar. And if I'm not mistaken, the larger photograph is possibly that same aircraft inside the hangar with a different perspective where you're looking at it from under the fuselage and under one of the wings. Wings, or I guess the aircraft is perched up on a set of pillars on the landing gear. And that's about all I can say about it. The background is a landscape photograph with possibly, I'm not sure what type of array that is, if that's a security gate or some kind of antenna structure. I can't tell. But I won't take all the fun out of it, and we'll turn it over to, let's say, AI6DG for a description, starting at the top of the list.
Okay, so we've got one main photo with an insert on the lower left. On the photo is a large, looking from halfway down the fuselage underneath the plane, looking down it, up at the wings and the landing gear. The whole plane is up on a couple of pillars, although you really only see one. It's on a nice, clean, shiny floor with a huge window. The whole side of the building is one big window, so that framework is the framework to hold the panes of glass. So we're looking at, probably 40-foot tall glass window of panes with a mountain desert type of terrain in the background. And the insert, I guess, is looking at that plane from the side and above, kind of above. And it looks to me like it might be Air Force One, and Air Force One, because I kind of see a blue pattern. So it's either an airline on it with a blue color paint scheme, or it's an Air Force One at a museum somewhere. But regardless, it's got to be some sort of museum. Oh, I guess it could be a presidential museum somewhere. Back to net AI6DG.
That's pretty good. Very close, I suppose. Thank you, Joel, and writing down the list to K3REH, Anders.
So this picture had much fewer pixel pops. It is a nice view, like everybody already described, and I also think the color scheme of the plane down in the insert picture there looks like Air Force One. And the landscape kind of reminds me of Arizona. So I don't know, there's a big aircraft museum in Tucson where they do have, if I remember right, an Air Force One, not really an old one, like 50s, something like that. And I don't remember if it looked like that. I've been there, I know that, but it was many years ago, and I don't remember the hangars. It was all outside, so maybe I'm wrong, but that's a wild guess. K3REH, back to net.
All right, well, thank you for that. I think you gave it a pretty decent whirl. How about this one? Carol, KP4MD, any update?
Yeah, I want to say that Alf is on. What we have is Alf. We have Andrew also, who's on there, and we have Frank, Whiskey 6 November Yankee X-Ray, watching along on YouTube. And okay, all I can say is a nice shiny airplane. I have no idea where this is, but it came through very well. Very few pixel pops, as you can see on YouTube. So back to net. This is KP4MD.
All right, and thank you for all the YouTube viewers out there watching us. And Carol, thanks for the updates on everything. Ken, November 6 Kilo Echo November, would you give a signal, or rather, were you able to copy?
This November 6 kilowatt Echo November. Negative. I use a USB signaling USB device, and I had bought a jumper board so I can use it with my another 2-meter mobile to create a permanent packet station. And then I realized, oh, this net is on 70 centimeters, so I had to redo my jumpers, and for whatever reason my PC's not detecting the device anymore. So you can take me out of the rotation. I'll play with it and try to get it back going for next week.
Comment.
All right, go ahead, comment.
For the people who are having receipt problems, I'd like to suggest that you can go to the YouTube to the stream, and you can see the picture there, and then comment on what you see over there. Back to Net AI6DG.
All right, well, thank you for that, Joel. The suggestion is to pick this up on YouTube. You can find the link. I think Carol just sent it out on Discord. It's also available on the club website. I think that should get you there. But anyway, hang in there, Ken. I know the story behind that. I've had a lot of experience fussing with my Signalink and some of my homebrew stuff too. So hang in there, and I'll take you off the rotation, and we'll be listening for you when you're ready. All right, going back up the list to, let's see, Neil, KL7HQR. Tell us about this wonderful photo of the aircraft. Thank you.
Yeah, before we do that, maybe you want to try Bob, N6BGQ.
Oh, I missed Bob, and I apologize. Bob, I skipped right over you this time, and my apologies. Go ahead, Bob. Were you able to copy?
Yeah, the quality was really, really good. People have made all sorts of comments. The plane, the main plane, appears to be a jet plane. I don't see any propellers on the nacelle that's just to the very right of the picture. It looks like the wheels are on a stand, and very large windows in the back. The inset picture looks like an old 707 and is painted the presidential Air Force One colors. The only one I know of is in the Reagan Library down south, and it could be there. I don't know what the plane is on the top, but we will find out.
All right, nice one. Okay, you're up, Neil. KL7HQR, go right ahead.
Well, you guys, KL7HQR, you guys gradually put the puzzle together, and Bob put in the last piece. This is indeed the President Reagan Library in Simi Valley, California, near Camarillo, down south. I wasn't present here in the Net on last Wednesday because I was paying a visit to my good old friend Mickey down in Anaheim. I had some tickets that were going to expire in December, so the wife and I went down, and the only problem that they had kids in there for some reason. But anyway, we made a quick stop on the way back at the Reagan Library. The risk of being political, my favorite president, and we spent quite a few hours there. I had been there before, just a little after he was buried there a few years ago. And I was impressed with what they have done to the place. It's absolutely incredible. It is the same airplane. It is inside that enormous room. And the reason I did this inset because I wanted to give a little bit of a hint with the inset picture, but I also wanted to show the fantastic view that they have from that museum. It's up on the hills. Very, very impressive. That's a 707, as Bob indicated, a tail number 27,000 that was used by a couple presidents before, but the last one was President Reagan. The other 707 that is also, I believe, in display is the 26,000, which was used by President Kennedy. It's quite an impressive place. Politics aside, they've done it in a very respectable way, with a good coverage of all his life from when he was a child and going into sports and then going into acting in California. recommend if you have a chance to stop by and take a look at that place. KL7HQR, back to that.
Wow, that's just fascinating. Neil, could you state the name of the facility once again? I think I missed it.
Yes, it's Ronald Reagan Library and Museum, located in Simi Valley. You can do a Google for just President Reagan Library, and you will see quite a lot of information of it.
That's great. So thanks for that, Ronald Reagan Library and Museum, Simi Valley. So that's a worthwhile lookup. So thanks for that update. Any other comments or questions on that? Okay. Well, thank you very much. No, one quick question though. Are you able to go inside at all?
You broke up a little bit, but if the question is that you were able to go inside the airplane, yes. You actually go in through the front door cockpit. They take a picture of you waving, and then you look at everything inside, from the cockpit all the way to the tail. And then besides that, they also have the Marine One, the helicopter that was used. They have the limousine that was used by him, and some examples of the California Highway Patrol cars that was used back in the 70s. So it's quite a place.
All right. Well, very good, Neil. I'll say thank you very much. Wonderful photo, a little bit of history there. Definitely inspired to make my way into that if I'm ever in the Simi Valley area. So I'm going to turn it over to Anders, K3REH. Anders, if you're ready to transmit, go right ahead.
This is K3REH, and this will be in PD 120.
What do we have here? I've got a nice colorful photo with, I'll just be brief, some electronics from Anders. So something related to electronics, but a fairly sharp photograph with some pixel pops, but fairly good resolution and color spectrum. And I will be brief and jump around a little bit. So I'll go down to Carol, KP4MD. I'll ask Carol to give an update.
Okay, yeah, this is Carol, KP4MD, and Interesting. I'm seeing caution. This is K3REH, and it looks like a push-to-talk microphone on the left that's been taped over with some electrical tape, and it's just two wires. Looks like two wires are shorting each other between the VC and the VB. Not very good. Looks like it's going to cause some trouble there. Anyway, that's all I see. Everything is nice and clear. Hardly any pixel pops at all. Back to net. This is KP for MD.
All right. Well, thank you for that update, Carol, and glad you were able to copy. I'm going to go to Neil, KL7HQR.
Yeah, good copy here as well, guys. KL7HQR. Very, very sharp picture. And the microphone on the left with some tape on it. But what catches my eye immediately is the caution, because I don't know if it is a question of perspective, but it looks like whoever put those wires in those contacts wanted to really make sure that you could see the copper wire. And I would be very, very concerned about some short circuits in there. So I believe that's what the caution should at least be referring to. But great picture, great picture. Back to that.
Yeah, it looks like the white wire would be the hot leg of an AC, and the black wire. Oh, this is a three-phase. This is a three-phase circuit. Voltage C, volt B, VA, which implies three-phase AC, and the conductor strip there. Yeah, that's starting to make sense. At first, I couldn't tell, but with this picture is coming together in my mind. So, very good. Thank you for that, Neil. Let's see, Bob, N6PGQ, an opinion, a commentary. Were you able to copy?
Yeah, I copied it real well. Very, very few pixel pops. Nice job. It looks like the white wire is perhaps, it may be perspective, one size larger than the rest of them. I don't know how you can get it into the VC block on the terminal strip. And it shows a taped up microphone that looks like. I don't know whether this is one of Phil's ideas to have you do CW with your Bofang or what. But anyway, it'll be interesting to find out. N6PGQ.
All right. Well, I think we're getting closer. I'll turn it over to Joel, AI6DG.
The thing on the left's not a microphone, it's a power brick, and it looks like it's got a very corroded, but only one of the two AC prongs. The other one's completely missing, and yes, it's taped up, I don't know why, but that thing looks dangerous. But not as dangerous as on the right, where ground, VN, VA, VB, VC, and yeah, that does look like notation for a three-phase. But I would think the wire, and they're above a terminal strip with screws and holes, and we've got three wires that I can see going into it, white, black, and green, but I think white, black, and green are the colors for 110, not for a three-phase AC circuit, but someone doesn't know how to strip wire and properly because they've stripped too much off and left exposed wire. When you're putting wires into a terminal strip like that, you're not supposed to have any exposed wires for the very reason as this displays, because the wires have been bent and they either are shorted or perilously close to shorting, and whether it's 110 or 220, the smoke's going to come out, and plus a lot of flame and sparks, and well, it's not going to be pretty. And a little bit, I also think I see a black wire behind the white wire that's at the angle that's causing the short. I don't know where it would be going, though. It doesn't really make sense. But I think both of these are examples of what not to do. Back to net AI6PG.
think Anders sent a photo that was like throwing a bone to a group of junkyard dogs. This is turning out to be a lot of fun. So thank you, Anders. Did I get to Neil, KL7HQR? I'm jumping around. Did you copy?
Yes, I did, and I already commented, but I don't see anything wrong with that whatsoever. Back to that.
See, that's the problem with jumping around on the list. Try to give some variety. So how about at K3REH? What would you say, Anders?
So this is my version of Halloween Scare. We actually received this today. This was a return unit from the field. It's been out there. Apparently they installed this in Florida, and it said boom. And they were complaining that the system didn't work properly. Those 3 wires, and you can notice that green should be ground, but they ran it as phase A. It's not a 120, it's not a 220, or 240, it's a 480 circuit. Delta 480 volt AC. And these guys ran 12 gauge wires straight into this box. As you can see, they didn't do a very good job in terminating it into the green terminal, and yeah, they shorted out, and you can actually see it. I looked at YouTube here. You can actually see in the background it is all mounted on a black piece of plastic, and you can see kind of burn marks on the plastic. The structure of the plastic is burnt in a few places, and when we removed this, there was obviously plenty of damage to that. And then Joel was right, the thing on the left is the power brick that they use to power this, which has been outside for a while, and we got it back with only 1 prong. I have to guess that the other prong is still where the thing was plugged in, so somebody should not go close to that outlet. So that's my version of Halloween Scare. K3REH, back to net.
All right, that's Halloween Scare soup. So thank you very much. That's a fun one. Any other points or questions for Anders? Quick question for you, Anders. What does the device do in a nutshell?
So the company that purchased this piece of equipment, they do something very high-tech. They spray foam on top of roofs. And the foam is some kind of insulating material to improve the insulation of the building. That's their main product. They're using this device, which is the stuff that we're making, my company is making, and it's basically an electric meter. It's a watt-hour meter, and what you're looking at is where the voltage, where the phase voltages are going into that meter. So this should obviously go through breakers, and it should be a completely different type of wiring that goes in here. But this is what they did. So they're supposed to use electricians for this job. I have a feeling that they kind of skipped that little instruction this time. K3REH, back to net.
Yeah, or maybe the electrician wasn't a very competent one. All right, any other comments? Thank you, Anders.
Question.
Go ahead.
So I guess it's explained if they didn't use an electrician why they didn't use the right colors. But am I correct in thinking that the white, black, green are the incorrect colors, and what should they be?
So that's actually not part of what I know. I think it's, if I remember right, it's white, black, and red, but I may be wrong. I'm not an electrician myself. I'm a software guy. But I can tell that whatever they did here was not the right way. So that's all I know. K3REH.
Yeah. White, black, and red is what you would normally expect to see. Actually, black would be, technically black would be neutral. VA would be white. Red would be VB. Now, you got me on the third phase. I can't remember what color that would be, but the green wire is really ground, not neutral. So thanks for the question.
Maybe blue.
You're going to have me reach into my library for the answer, and I'll get back to you. But so yeah, thanks. That was a fun one. And I think what I'll do is go on down the list to Bob, N6PGQ. If you're ready, can you send?
I sure can. This should be PD 120.
All right, well, and Net Control, N6EMF here, was able to copy approximately half of what Bob N6PGQ sent. I see a photograph. The background looks like a wooden surface, maybe a table. In the photograph, I see something with a Halloween-themed colors, black and orange, but maybe cannot make out what it is. My SSTV froze up at some point. So I will turn it over to Joel, AI6DG.
So the orange and black thing has it's two panels. You've got an arch on the top with probably a pumpkin face, and below that, first off, it's sideways, so I've got to have to turn my head to the left to look at it. And the right panel, which is actually the top panel, is on a broom, and the left panel, which is on the bottom, is a cat with an arched back and a tail doing a curve, and a moon making a smile. And it's something that's folded, I think. I can't tell if it's a shape for a candle or a box to put something in or what, but obviously a piece of Halloween-themed something or another, and yes, on a wooden table. Back to Net, AI6DG.
All right, very good. Well, thank you for that description, Joel, and I'll turn it over to Neil, KL7HQR. Were you able to copy as well?
Yes, I did. Very, very good copy here. Very few artifacts. I agree 100% with what Joel said. There is what appears to be a very thin wire linking the top of the two panels on the left, which leads me to believe that this, along with the grain of the wood in the back, that this is a fairly small device. So it would either be something that you put against the glass on a window, or maybe if it would fold, I would expect to have a few more more size to it. But very sharp copy on the picture itself. Back to that.
All right. Thank you for that, Neil. Anders, K3REH.
So as this came in, I started thinking about Australia and those things where they have a long string and a little flappy thing at the end that gives a humming sound to scare either away or attract animals. I'm not sure exactly which one, or maybe it's some kind of instrument. But then I saw that these two pieces kind of look attached to each other. It doesn't look like they fold or do anything, and the theme may not be very Australian. So I retract that idea, and instead I think this is an ornament that you put on the outside of your front door. That is my guess. K3REH, back to net.
All right. Well, it looks kind of spooky. I can see that much. I can't wait to hear from Bob what he would have to say. How about Carol, KP4MD? How copy?
Okay, this is Carol, KP4MD. A very good picture here. We have what looks like a Halloween ornament. It's sideways, of course, to fit in the picture. It has some kind of wire hanging out from the top. I suppose those wires are used to hang the ornament. The top of each side has what looks like a jack-o'-lantern, and then on the left side, or actually in the bottom, if you turn your head sideways, it's the left. You got a cat arching its back underneath a crescent moon, and on the right side you have a witch riding a broom. Really nice. So back to Annette's KP4MD.
All right. Well, thank you for that, Carol. And I think we can get back up to, let's see, Bob. Would you like to tell us about your device, your photo? Thank you.
Okay, well, I was sitting there on the 10-meter net, and Tom said that we have a Halloween theme tonight. And so I went, I already had my picture loaded onto the computer, and ran down and grabbed this and took a picture with my phone and emailed it to myself. And that's why I wasn't able to get the first-person picture on, because I had a flash drive stuck in my computer instead of the signal link. But about the picture, this was my grandmother's, and they would hang it up with that wire that you see on the left at Halloween. But it actually unfolds and has 4 different scenes on it. This is just 2 of them. And you would place it on a table and put a candle behind it, and the light would shine through and have the silhouette of the Halloween themes. It's quite old, and it's about, I'd say about 8 inches, just off the top of my head, tall. And they used it as a hanging decoration instead. So there it is, N6PGQ.
Oh, there's some history there. I appreciate that. Thanks for sharing the story. How many years of how old is this thing, would you say?
Oh, it's older than I am, so it's got to be, probably 85 years old, something like that.
Well, that's amazing. So thanks for sharing. One last question: what kind of material did you say? What would you say material-wise?
It's a heavy paper. It's it's not glass, so it's an outline in heavy paper with a light orange background behind it.
All right. Thank you for sharing. Well, happy Halloween. A little bit of historical artifact there. And let me go on down the list. And thanks for sending that photo, Bob. And for Carol, if you have one to send, would you please come now?
Yeah, sure. This is KP4MD. And I just wanted to share a little announcement. Since this net, besides dealing with slow scan TV, it has to do with using sound card modes. In case anybody's interested, November 6th to 7th is going to be Free DV Activity Day. And if anybody wants to dabble on HF using Free DV Digital Voice, there's an opportunity to do that. And I'll go ahead and I'll post the link in the chat so people can take a look at the announcement for that. That's promises to be interesting. Also, we have a couple of comments here from YouTube chat. Andrew Murphy says he wished that his local radio club would allow SSTV on their UHF repeater, but unfortunately they don't do that over there. Alf also showed the SSTV to his mom, and she was quite impressed seeing the image drawing up on the screen as he was receiving a picture. The other thing was that Andrew Murphy did guess that this was spooky wiring. That was the picture that Anders sent, and very much guessed it right there, that the green was supposed to be the ground. And although things are just a little different, green is ground usually in house wiring, the standard house wiring, and I think, as Anders said, it maybe needs to be red because it's a three-phase wiring. So I'm going to go ahead, let me go ahead and put this link in here. And this is Free DV, which is a free, it's a free app to do digital voice on HF. Free DV Activity Day. There. So I am now going to go ahead and send a picture, and it's going to be in the spirit of the holiday here, and it'll be really quick. It's going to be BW12, so it'll come over super fast. Okay, let's go ahead and do that, and here it comes.
Wow, that is phenomenal. That is so much fun. I don't deserve it. So thank you, Carol, for sending the photo. I see a black and white photo from BW12 mode, and I'll say that is 320 by 256 pixels, black and white apparently. I think that's what it is. So I'll turn it over to Joel, AI6DG, for. Were you able to copy?
I blinked and it appeared on the screen. Yeah, that was fast. So we've got the same image repeated 6 times. So we've got a 6 pattern. Also, a little bit of the top is cut off on what I'm looking at. And it's a witch on a broom. Instead of a broom at the end of the stick, it's a 2-element Yagi, 3-element Yagi. We've got a ham witch or a ham warlock. I don't know. What do they wear? What do warlocks wear on their head? Definitely a witch hat. No, it says YL. Okay, so it is a witch. YL in the lower left corner and ham radio in the upper right corner of each of the images. And I noticed Free DV had a booth down at the at Pacificon. I didn't stop and talk to him, but I did notice that. I have downloaded Free DV and I'm looking at it, trying to configure it. So I'm wondering if anyone would like to revive our digital together Saturdays and sometime and try this out. Back to Nick, AI6DG.
Well, I really enjoyed that photo, Carol, ham witch, and I like that, Joel. And also, I wanted to say thanks, Carol, for bringing an announcement. It's not something we have done in my recollection in the history of my involvement with Slow Scan TV Nets, but having an announcement that way is really a good thing, so I appreciate that. And, yeah, the HF Free DV is not something I've heard of. And thanks to, I think it was Andrew Murphy, for bringing comments. Joel, we can pick up where we left off on the digital mode stuff maybe over the holiday season. For me, my Saturdays are jammed up until probably late November. So if you want to plan on doing something around the Thanksgiving holiday, that might be really especially fun. So let's talk about that, and let me also turn it over to KL7HQR. Are we able to copy?
Yeah, good copy. Impressed with the sharpness of the picture and the quickness. And I also noticed that if it is one wish, or if it is a formation of 9 of them, they all are riding a Yagi with vertical polarization.
Vertical depends on your perspective. Looks like diagonal to me. Okay, thanks for that, Neil. K3REH.
So we just had the class about Yagis in the general class that I'm taking, and I learned that the reflector needs to be 5% longer, and the director needs to be 5% shorter. But I don't see that in this picture, so I don't know which way this Yagi is actually pointing. But the witch is clearly going left, so that's as much as I can tell. K3REH, back to net.
All right, that's great. Good stuff. Well, good luck on your general class license preparation. Thanks for sharing, Anders, and N6PGQ. How about it, Bob? Were you able to copy?
Yeah, and boy, Carol was right. That thing sure just whizzed in. And I don't know if the black dots on it mean anything. You know, the very middle square has an eye, if you want to represent that above the I don't know, whichever direction you are on, probably the director. And there may be some things up in the corners that we didn't get, that it may spell something out. I don't know. It's kind of cute. I don't know where Carol found this, but it's kind of neat. So I agree with Neil. It's vertically polarized, and we can't see all of the spacing. So who knows? N6PGQ.
6KEN.
All right, go ahead, Ken, and thank you, Bob.
Just letting you know, I'm back up and running. I figured it out. Just had to reboot my computer. The drivers, USB drivers, had crashed. So you can put me back in the order.
All right, Ken. By the way, a quick update on my Signal Link. I for some reason, if I pull my Signal Link USB cable out and move it to a different USB port on my laptop, it creates a new driver instance, and that is contributing to some confusion for me. So anyway, and I know how it goes. Were you able to copy this photograph, Ken?
USL, yeah. I have all the witches on the what looks like 3-element Yagi.
All right. Well, you're back in. Thanks for the update. I'll run on down the list. Skip over Bob's. I'm sorry. I think where am I? Carol, back to Carol, KP4MD.
Yeah, I'm just going to say this is from one of my wild groups on Facebook. They have this as their homepage picture, and they've had it there for years. And I always thought that this was appropriate for to send at Halloween. I really can't answer. You know, it's a silhouette, so I really can't answer as to the correctness of the spacing of the Yagi elements. But it's a good observation there. You know, if this was actually all in the same plane, I would have to say the elements are not spaced far enough apart. But I'm guessing that this being a silhouette, it's just projected onto the two dimensions in that fashion. But very good. So, yep. I haven't seen too much ghosting on the images today. But it's not to say that won't happen. So back to net control. This is KP4MT.
Not too much ghosting. Oh, that's great. Thank you, Carol. I'm going to go ahead and send out a photo, and I'm inspired by what Carol did. And bear with me. Let me figure out what I've got going on here. I'm inspired by what Carol did. So Net Control in 6EMF will send black and white 8 for transmit. It'll be super fast and probably black and white. So stand by. All right, Net Control launches his photo. I'll just start right at the top. Joel, were you able to copy?
Another blink and it happened. This looks like a grayscale, not black and white, but came across very well. Only see a couple of pops on it. And it's candy corn. So yes, very much in keeping with the season. Back to Net AI6TG.
All right, well, thank you for that. Keeping with the season. All right, Neil, KL7HQR, were you able to copy?
Yeah, very, very good copy here. No problem at all. I'm glad he said candy corn because I was trying to figure out if there was a whole bunch of balls that had fallen from a shelf after an earthquake.
Yes, very good. Okay, Anders, K3REH.
And yeah, Joel's observation there that this is clearly grayscale. I blew it up on my whole screen here, and it's definitely a grayscale picture. Makes it look really good. So I'm getting a little hungry. K3REH, back to Net.
Yeah, the mode name is BW8, so I don't know. I guess I mischaracterized it, and I can't see yet how it looks on the other side. So thanks for the comment, Bob, N6PGQ.
Well, it's definitely came through really quickly and looks good. Not a lot of pops. It didn't have much chance to do that. I had one question for Carol, and that was if the YL had done her radio safety check, because it looks like she's awful close to the antenna. There may be enough gain next to her that she may need to check out her RF safety report that she needs to file. N6PGQ.
Hey, Carol.
Yeah, that's a very good question, and I guess it depends on the power level. Probably, I'm hoping that she's working QRP over.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, I guess I didn't get around and give it enough time for comments on photos, so stop me like you did, and I appreciate that. Thanks, Bob, for your comment. Okay, so Carol, were you able to copy?
Yeah, you could see it on the YouTube. Came through very, very well. That was actually faster than what I sent because I used BW12. You did the BW8. It was super fast and nice and clear. Over.
Yeah, the notes on the protocol read 160 by 120 pixels at 8 seconds for the complete transmission. It is amazing. Thank you. N6KN, how about you? Did you copy?
QSL, 100%. Got the black and white candy corns.
Okay, well, very good. I'll tell you the quick story behind this. On the 10-meter net that we had at 8:30 for N6NA, it was W6BS net control operator Bob. He asked the question, "What's your favorite Halloween candy?" And so I gave this narrative that basically that I love candy corn. So that's what this is all about. And in fact, I started off with another picture this evening that was related to another gadget that I have that I was going to do a show and tell, but make it quick and make it fun. So candy corn. Thank you for your comments. Go ahead, Ken, if you have a photo to transmit.
Okay, this is N6KEN, and I'll be transmitting on PD 120.
All right, well, this is Net Control. I was able to copy your photo. Quite a few pixel pops, Ken. I see an antenna mast that looks like it might be telescopic, holding or kind of supporting a dipole that might be a trapped dipole. And the background, you know, is a cloudy sky with a house as well. But I can't tell based on the scale of the roofing structure of the house and the antenna mast what's going on there. I want to say that it's an HF antenna, but the scale tells me that it's more of a VHF or UHF antenna or something like a 10 meter or something like that. I don't know. And if I had to guess, I would say it's a buddy pole, but I don't really know that either. And would like to turn it over to Joel and see what he would have. Were you able to copy, Joel?
Well, pretty much you said it. So we're looking up at a roof. I see a mast going from below, off picture. It's going up and is probably bolted to a gable end of a house on the facer board. And it's a dipole, a rigid dipole, maybe a buddy pole system of some kind. And yeah, it does look pretty short. So maybe 6 or 10 meters would be my guess. There might be some guidelines coming off of it or coax. I can't really quite tell from the resolution. Probably a recent photo with the weather we've been having, because the sky kind of looks like that stormy weather type of sky with clouds, and there is some blue. And he can't just get on the air. Is he showing off his new setup? I look forward to hearing. Back to that N6CG.
Very good, Joel, and thank you for that. Neil, KL7HQR, you able to copy the photo?
Yeah, it's very good copy here. As you said, a little bit more specs in a picture, but good picture. It's kind of interesting because I was seeing this as a very short VHF antenna until I saw the the top of the roof, and then the scale changed in my mind. But it looks more like a 10 meters, and is what I would assume. I'm kind of curious to know if this is Ken's setup for now, or I thought maybe it was one of those super antennas with on a dipole mode. So, well, let's see. That's that.
By the way, I think I heard Ken on the 10-meter net tonight for the first time, and sound pretty good. I think I heard him about a Q3 from my QTH here in Rancho Cordova. So there's an update for Ken. N6PGQ, were you? I'm sorry, I skipped over Anders, K3REH. Are you still with us, Anders?
I certainly am, and I think that this is a recent picture, and I think the proud owner ran outside right after the rain and took this picture just to prove that this thing was still standing. That's my guess. K3REH, back to net.
All right, taken to another dimension. Thank you for that one, Anders. Bob, N6PGQ, were you able to copy?
Yeah, I was, and there's quite a lot of pops on it. You could hear it on the transmission if you had the audio turned up. Looks like the mast is collapsible. Looks like there's some sections that are joined together. And if I had to guess, I would guess it is also a buddy pole. If you look real carefully, it looks like there's a coil about, maybe a fourth of the way in on both sides. The one on the right seems to have a jumper that is below the coil, and the one on the left has a jumper above the coil. So I would guess that those are buddy poles, and it may be 10 meters since we heard them loud and clear. N6PGQ.
Yes, I vote for 10 meters. Thanks, Bob. How about Carol, KP4MD?
Yeah, this is KP4MD. Definitely, this looks like two loaded whip antennas. It looks like my buddy stick. Two of the buddy sticks put together. I don't know if that's the normal center insulator support that comes with the buddy pole. Maybe it is. It just looks a little different to me. But yes, you can see the loading coils that have the little wander lead that looks like it's plugged into one of those little tap screws that come with the buddy poles on both sides. So I can't guess what frequency it's set for because that depends on wherever the inductor is set. But yep, it looks like a horizontal shortened dipole. So back to net. KP4MD.
All right, well, thank you for that, Carol. And we'll turn it over to Ken for an update from Ken himself, N6KEN. Go right ahead.
Yeah, so I'll try to be quick here. 2 years ago during Pacificon, I saw the buddy pole guys there, and I ended up buying the buddy stick package. And I've been trying to get that vertical to work off my balcony here, and it's been hit and miss. And so with most of the bands needing a counterpoise, it's quite difficult when I'm raised off the ground. So although I know Carol has a video, and I ended up buying one of those jaw mounts, which should be it's actually in the mail. I should probably get it tomorrow. But anyhow, I was hoping to buy this down at Pacificon this year, but Chris didn't bring any inventory. So I bought it last week, and it arrived yesterday. And I put this up in the picture. It's in a 17-meter configuration, and I was able to work a station in Texas. And then tonight I put it in the 10-meter configuration, and of course I could rotate it a little bit. And for the first time, I was able to hear probably, I think there were 16 people on the net. I was able to pick up probably around 14 of them. So very happy with it, and plan on doing a whole bunch of different configurations. I think I bought every single piece they offer. So I've got the rotating, well, that came with the rotating arm kit, but I got the Yagi kit as well, so I can actually do a 10-meter Yagi 3-element that I'll probably try next week. Anyway, back to net N6KN.
I think Ken just made his annual investment in ham radio. I would say that would be my annual investment for ham radio. That's impressive. So nice work, Ken, and I sure would like to hear more about this and probably want to study these buddy poles a little bit more. They're fascinating, but I know they're highly configurable and lots of product options, lots of variability and flexibility. And you have to know what you're doing, too, right? So nice work. Thank you. Any other comments or questions for Ken?
Yeah, KL7HQR, do you have a rotating capability on this? You have a rotor?
So this is the Buddy Pole Deluxe long version. So the mast is collapsible, really easy to put up and take down. In fact, I took it down while we were on the net here. But this one's 18 feet tall, and of course it's about 10 feet off the ground the balcony is 10 feet off the ground, and I had it another 15 feet. I didn't put it all the way up. But they do sell one that has the crank where you can rotate it, but this is just a manually turning the tube.
No problem at all. I think we all have had a lot of good luck with those things with your good old Armstrongs. Congratulations.
Ditto. Congratulations. Thanks for the question, Neil. Any others?
And the other comment, my annual budget, I wish. I've spent way too much this year. I make a joke that I work at HRO to support my HRO habit. Hi.
Yeah, I think I blew my ham budget in April or March or something, but that's just the way it goes. Got to enjoy it, right? It's worthwhile. It's worthwhile, Ken. Just keep that in mind. So, anyway, I'm gonna seek to close the net. I got to kind of chase people to bed here in my house, and I want to say I really had a great time this evening with the announcements from Carol and hearing about the YouTube audience that we have, and we had a great cast tonight and shared some good stories and photos. So, thank you for that. I want to say happy Halloween to everybody out there for whatever you're doing or whatever you're not doing. Be safe, and for now, I'd like to say thanks to all who participated in tonight's Slow Scan TV Net. Hope to see you again next Wednesday at 9 p.m. This net is officially closed at 10:20 p.m. local time, Pacific time, and this is Wilson, November 6th, Echo Mike Foxtrot, wishing you all a good evening. And by the way, thanks, Carol, for running these Slow Scan TV Net streaming activity. 7-3. Good night.
Very enjoyable net tonight, and the right colors for three-phase 480 is brown, orange, and yellow. K3REH signing off.
Okay, K3REH, can you hang on for a second? I have a question for you.
I'm here.
Okay. Thanks, Wilson. Thanks, everybody. Really appreciate it. Not really a question. I just want to know if you follow Formula One.
Formula One, no, but my colleague certainly does. He is an old NASCAR, not driver, but tech. But myself, no.
Well, you may have missed one fantastic moment this weekend. We had the U.S. Grand Prix out in Austin, and a young man from Netherlands, Max Verstappen, has been coming up, and Lewis Hamilton from England got 7 championships, and this young man Verstappen never won one, and he is giving the 7-time champion a run for his money, and he won the race this weekend and got quite a few points ahead. So congratulations.
Well, that is very cool, and I'll certainly mention it to my colleague. He's like I said, he's an old NASCAR tech, so he's still doing it kind of on the side every now and then. He runs off to a race and he's changing tires or whatever he's doing, but he's definitely working in the pit there with one of the teams, so it's all fun.
Curious. I would suggest you Google either Max Verstappen or Formula One news, and I think you're going to